What's up, Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao, and thanks for joining us for the news today. We begin here in Taiwan, where dozens of petitions have been submitted to election officials to recall politicians from the KMT. These mass recalls are part of a wider battle between the KMT and the ruling DPP to unseat each other's lawmakers. Rick Laut is following the story for us from here in Taipei. Rick, what's happening with all these petitions?
Well, this is all about the bitter rivalry and the deep political divide between Taiwan's ruling Democratic Progressive Party, or the DPP, led by President Lai Ching-te, and the main opposition party, the Kuomintang, or the KMT. Since elections 1 year ago, the KMT and another opposition party have had control over the legislature, and the two sides have been going at each other politically. For example, the legislature recently slashed the central government's budget. This is a very difficult position for President Lai. He's facing increasing aggression from China abroad, and at home, he's hamstrung by this hostile legislature. Now, political division here runs deep. The two sides disagree on how Taiwan should deal with China, and most recently, both sides have been going after each other's lawmakers. Over the Lunar New Year, thousands of people have signed petitions to oust KMT legislators, and with some organisers have been accusing that those KMT lawmakers have been working together with China to subvert Taiwan society.
但中共和蓝白立委都忘了，台湾政治的主体不是政党，而是握有选票的公民。台湾的公民现在站出来说，我们是国家的主人。蓝白立委，你们恶仆卖主。 想把我们的国家搞垮，我们不答应，我们要罢免你们。
Now, DPP political leaders have been distancing themselves from this recall campaign. They say it's a grassroots campaign and it's the will of the people. But if this bid is successful and the balance of power in the legislature shifts, it would resolve a big headache for Lai.
Rick, how likely is it that a lot of lawmakers will actually be recalled?
Well, it's not that easy to recall lawmakers in Taiwan. It doesn't happen that often, and there are plenty of hoops to jump through. So the first stage that we saw today is that you need to get a petition with 1% of the electorate. Then you need to get a petition with 10% of the electorate before a vote can take place on whether to recall the politician or not. And then finally, there would be a by-election to replace them. But at the same time, the main opposition groups in the legislature have passed a bill that would make it harder to recall politicians. You would need to produce your identification documents if you want to sign one of these petitions. But the Central Election Commission here has said that the petitions submitted today will follow the existing rules. So all eyes will now be looking at how these recall bids proceed, the latest battle in this big political war here in Taiwan.
Thanks for that explanation, Rick. That was Rick Laut reporting live from here in Taipei. U.S. President Donald Trump, he says Americans could feel some short-term pain after several countries promised retaliation over a slew of U.S. tariffs. Canada and Mexico have already announced counter-tariffs on U.S. goods after Trump signed executive orders imposing a 25% tax on the two countries' imports. China, which was hit with 10% tariffs, will reportedly propose restoring the unused Phase 1 trade agreement from 2020. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. That deal required China to increase purchases of American products by about $200 billion over a 2-year period. And speaking about the EU, Trump said that tariffs were incoming, but that deals with the UK could be worked out.
Well, Prime Minister Starmer has been very nice. We've had a couple of meetings. We've had numerous phone calls. We're getting along very well. And we'll see whether or not we can balance out our budget. With the European Union, it's $350 billion deficit. So obviously something's going to take place there.
Stock markets across Asia, the first open since Trump's announcements over the weekend, opened sharply down on Monday morning as investors responded to the tariffs. And investors here in Taiwan are among those feeling the pain as local stocks tumbled. On the first day of trading after the Lunar New Year holiday, the main index dipped about 3.5%. Shares in chipmaking giant TSMC fell even further by about 5.7%. That's after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to slap higher tariffs on Taiwan-made chips, anywhere from 25% to 100%. But analysts say the tariffs would likely backfire or could trigger a global tariff war. Pyongyang has promised to take action after U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called North Korea a rogue state. Korea's foreign ministry called Rubio's comments absurd and illogical and said that it will take tough counteraction as usual. The statement also condemned U.S. plans to build a missile defense system. This is Pyongyang's first public criticism of the new administration since Trump took office in January. China is putting fresh pressure on South Africa to distance itself from Taiwan, slapping sanctions on the chair of South Africa's second largest party for a recent visit here. And as John Van Trieste reports, this may be more than just a test of South African ties, but also one of the Trump administration's resolve.
China says Ivan Meyer, chair of South Africa's Democratic Alliance Party, crossed a red line with a trip to Taiwan, and it's trying to make him pay a price. China claims Taiwan and objects to any official visits to Taiwan by foreign officials. Meyer and his family are now banned from China, a potentially awkward situation for the chair of South Africa's second biggest party, given China's status as South Africa's biggest trading partner and its clout across the African continent. But this is just one part of an ongoing pressure campaign aimed at pushing South Africa and Taiwan apart. Though South Africa has recognized China since 1998, it's agreed to let Taiwan keep up an unofficial liaison office, similar to the many other de facto embassies Taiwan has around the world. China has decided that arrangement's time is up. In an apparent response to Meyer's sanctioning, the South African government's now repeating a demand it first made last year, that Taiwan move its office out of the capital, Pretoria. The new deadline is the end of March, and the office could also face downgrading in status from liaison office to a mere trade office. Taiwan's foreign ministry says it's already responding.
外交部长林佳龙于接获外管通报后，第一时间再度召集应变小组，讨论因应方式，并在年假期间与国内外相关同仁随时保持联系。同时，也指示亚非司司长贺忠义立即召见南非新任驻台代表。 表达我政府严正关切。
There is opposition from some corners of South Africa's political sphere, notably from other members of Meyer's Democratic Alliance. MP Emma Louise Powell has said the party will oppose any attempt to, as she put it, evict Taiwan's office. And the Inkatha Freedom Party previously voiced concern about what impact forcing Taiwan's office to move could have on the nearly 3 decades of unofficial ties Taiwan has developed with South Africa. Back in Taiwan, though, some see this diplomatic tussle as about more than just Taiwan and South Africa. There are even suggestions from some analysts this could be about testing the waters with a new Trump administration. How will the U.S., up to now Taiwan's security guarantor, react?
台湾这样的议题啊，是否是川普政府所非常关切的？愿意为台湾出来，这个抵抗南非的压力，这要有待观察。
If this analysis is right, the fight over Taiwan's South Africa office could turn into one more piece in the larger rivalry between the world's 2 biggest powers. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
OpenAI has launched a new online AI tool that can create in-depth research reports on many subjects. The company says that this could replace a significant amount of human labor. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says the tool, called Deep Research, can, quote, do a single-digit percentage of all economically valuable tasks in the world. And in a launch video, the company showed its agent producing reports about science and finance. Deep Research is the second tool released by the company this year. OpenAI has been launching and opening access to many new features in recent weeks after the Chinese startup DeepSeek shocked the AI industry with its open-source chatbot. Esports in China have become a booming industry, generating billions of dollars as millions of fans watch competitive tournaments. But women have been left largely sidelined, with men accounting for 90% of professional esport players there. As Rosie Granger explains, women are pushing to carve out a space in the lucrative scene.
Esports in China are dominated by male players, but at this competition, it's women only. Young female esports professionals created their own teams after being rejected by male competitions. It's part of a long battle against sexism, as female gamers look for recognition in the booming industry, including 23-year-old gamer Lu.
打游戏的时候，他游戏里边有很多那种歧视链嘛，然后就别人知道你是女生的时候，他就会对你有很多恶意，所以最开始我就很想，证明自己吧。然后慢慢就从那种单纯的玩游戏变成了有那种竞技的那种意识。
But the challenges extend beyond online abuse. Despite the rapid growth of China's esports industry, which generated over $3.7 billion in revenue in 2024, women remain sidelined. More than 90% of professional esports clubs in China are exclusively for men, leaving the opportunities for female players limited. And many female players have also had to overcome traditional family expectations.
对他不了解，对这个游戏行业，真的不了解。一开始是不支持他的，后来他打着，有点成绩了就无所谓了。
And convincing society has proved an even harder feat. The female leagues do not receive the same support as the male teams, and the disparity is clear in the prize pool. That of the country's top women's tournament saw the equivalent of $140,000, compared to the men's, which was a staggering $9.6 million reward.
奖金多的话，就还会吸引更多的俱乐部去做这个项目。如果说你奖金就100来万，一年就只有这2个比赛，甚至你根本不确定有没有比赛，那谁会去砸钱做个俱乐部呢？
With not enough monetary benefit to fund their careers, many female gamers say they're playing for passion rather than financial gain. But Lu and her teammates are adamant they will continue pushing for equality in the lucrative industry, determined to capture their well-earned spot at the top. James Lin and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's national baseball team has assembled once again, this time looking to earn a place at the biggest baseball competition in the world. Leslie Liao has more.
It's out of the Lunar New Year holiday and onto the baseball field. Taiwan's national baseball team will be vying for a spot in the biggest international baseball competition, the World Baseball Classic, at a qualifying tournament later this month. Team Taiwan announced its roster and the players began training together on Monday. Coming hot off of a win at the Premier 12 tournament, Taiwan is looking to recapture some of that baseball magic. While many of the players this time around who will be playing in the qualifying tournament are new, Chen Jiexian, who was pivotal in Taiwan's Premier 12 victory, will return.
我觉得穿上这件衣服啦，就我觉得是一件蛮骄傲的事情。然后自己很幸运能够在短时间，然后第2次参加了，就是近2、3个月吧，然后又穿下了台湾队的球衣，然后很开心，也希望这次能够跟年轻的选手们，然后擦出不一样的火花。
Taiwan will host a leg of the World Baseball Classic qualifiers right here at the Taipei Dome. Teams from Spain, Nicaragua, and South Africa will converge on Taiwan to compete for 2 open spots at next year's World Baseball Classic. With less than a month left, these qualifiers are Team Taiwan's first step to once again claiming baseball glory. Patrick Sun and Leslie Liao in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese actress Barbie Hsu has died at age 48. Hsu, also known as Big S, died from flu-related pneumonia while traveling in Japan over the Lunar New Year holiday. That's according to a statement from her sister. Hsu was best known for her role in Meteor Garden, a TV drama. And thanks for joining us today here on What's Up Taiwan. Head over to our website to see more of our news reports and programs. Finally, we take you to the Swiss Alps for this year's Hot Air Balloon Festival, where colorful balloons dotted the cloudy sky. I'm Eric Gao. Take care. We'll see you next time.